God's works are great in this world, not just in our lives, but all around us, not just all around us, but in our lives as well. Welcome this morning to this morning's Jolt, a fresh thought from the Word of God. And in Psalm 111, verse 2, it says, "The works of the Lord are great, sought out of all of them that have pleasure therein." I love this portion because it's almost like God has put a filter, okay? Like God has put a guard on finding out his works and the greatness of his works. First of all, it says it very clearly, the works of the Lord are great. If you look back at Israel's history, it's undeniable. If you look at the created universe, the order, the systems functioning in every cell, in on the planet, in the universe, it's undeniable. The works of the Lord are great, but will people see it? And God has kind of put a filter on that. Like, will people see it? Well, that depends on whether they are taking pleasure therein, whether they are rejoicing in it, whether they are enjoying it. Because those of us who do, we seek them out and we find them, and it's kind of evident for us. And we're like, how come not everybody sees this? This is amazing. Like Paul describes this in Romans 1, like he says, it's evident everywhere that God is great, but people somehow don't see it nonetheless. And this is like John 7:17, where Jesus said, "If any man will do the will of God, they will know about my doctrine if they are really from God." But if someone just wants, well, he doesn't describe this, but basically what he's saying is, if someone just wants to know or is interested or is curious, that's not the point. Do you want to do it? Do you want to live it? If you want to live it, then it's going to be evident to you. And this is the same kind of thing. Let me just read it again. Psalm 111, "The works of the Lord are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein." Now, the works of the Lord are great, and we know that that's true, and there is no, well, as believers, there is no debate about that in our hearts. But this is the beauty of it. Those of us who delight in them, like when we see the glorious works of God, then our heart rejoices with it. These are the people, we are the people who seek out his work. We are wanting more. We want to see more. We want to have a testimony about his actions. We want to see healing, not just for the healing's sake, but because we want to see the hand of God. So what are we doing? We seek out those works. We are interested in them, and this is why we fellowship with other believers, because we want to be edified by God's work in their lives also, not just by God's work in our lives. And we rejoice together in it, and it's beautiful for us, and we seek it out. And I want to encourage you to do this, because this is why I always loved reading, for example, about creationism, how God created the world, and the study of that, and trying to understand that. Because as you do that, you marvel at the great works of God that he has done. And as you exercise your heart in that, or we could also say the history of Israel, the Old Testament, as you read it, the same thing happens. You exercise your heart in it, you seek it out, you have pleasure in it, and then you get practiced in seeking it out. You learn to look for it more, and you learn to spot it when it happens. And that's a beautiful thing for us as believers, because we can sort of spot the work of God. And someone would say, "Oh, there's nothing there." But we say in our hearts, no, that was God. That politician said that because that was God. That thing was there. I saw it between that parent and that child, and that was God. And someone would say, "No, that was an accident." And we say, "No, that was God." Why? Because we seek out the works of the Lord, because we know them to be great, and not just great, but our hearts have pleasure in them. And that's a great way to live life. And I just encourage you today, seek out the works of the Lord, enjoy them, and grow in finding them. And this is given to us as believers. We all have this ability. God bless you with these thoughts for this day, and I trust that we will meet again here soon.